I left teaching in the classroom when I was 30 years old. It wasn't because I burned out. It wasn't because I had a bad experience. Honestly, I loved my classroom and I loved teaching in the classroom. I ran a tight ship, I knew my material, and I genuinely cared about every single student who came through my door. But I was starting a family. I wanted to be at home, and so I stepped away, and I thought it would just be for a little bit. But what happened after that, I didn't plan at all. I started picking up tutoring on the side while I was at home, kind of just by accident, and it was so incredible, I never went back. And that was over 20 years ago. And today I'm going to tell you why you should do the same thing. Whether you're 30 or 50, wherever you are, if you're at the point where you're looking for a change and you want to move out of the classroom, tutoring is the key. I'm Daisy Luce, and I help others build a flexible, profitable online tutoring business like me, specifically by learning how to specialize in a high demand tutoring niche. So let's dive in. When I left teaching when I was 30, I wasn't thinking about building a business. I was just thinking about my kids, my family, being present at home. Tutoring was just something I did in the margins, and I had a few students here and there, subjects I already knew from my time in the classroom. I even tutored a few of my former students who wanted some extra tutoring outside of class. But something became really clear pretty quickly. In the classroom, the things I loved all revolved around the teaching part. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. The explaining, the moment something clicks for a student, the relationship you build over a school year. I loved all of that. I did not particularly love the classroom management side, the staff meetings, when I couldn't be as creative maybe as I wanted to be in the classroom in the way I wanted to present something. What tutoring gave me was just the good parts. Every single session, just the good part. That's when I realized I wasn't going back to the classroom. Tutoring was way better, and I had barely just scratched the surface. If you're a teacher in the traditional sense, still in the classroom, working a 9 to 5, but dreaming about other alternatives, this video is made for you. Everything you've spent years developing, how to explain a concept 3 different ways until it lands, how to read when a student is lost before they even say anything, how to build trust with a student who's convinced they're bad at the subject, all of that comes with you to tutoring. Your subject expertise is your product now. You're not lending those schools to a school district anymore. You own them. And the difference is this: in a classroom, your knowledge benefits 30 kids at once and you get paid a salary someone else decides. But in tutoring, your knowledge goes directly to one student at a time and you get to decide what it's worth. So, what does a typical day look like for me now? Because I think this is really where it hits. This was even more of a perk than I had even realized when I started. I don't set an alarm in the morning to beat the morning commute. I don't have lesson plans due. I don't have to be anywhere at any specific time in the morning. My mornings are mine. I get up, I get my kids off to school, I work out, I run errands, I handle whatever needs handling. I do a few little business things within my business, but for the most part, my entire morning and into the early afternoon is mine. I'm available to my family in a way I never could have been when I worked in the classroom. And I know you get that. So then in the afternoon and the evening, that's when I sit down and tutor anywhere from 3 to 5 sessions. Usually I tutor around my family schedule so I can sit with them during dinner or I can make it to one of the kids' sports games or something. In fact, tomorrow my son has a lacrosse game and I've already blocked off that 2 hour time so I can be sure that I'm there. So I still can make the evenings work, even though obviously that's when the majority of my tutoring takes place. Not all of it, but most of it. But the sessions are focused, they're productive, and when they're done, I'm done. I do in one afternoon what I used to do all day during the school day, but I'm not exhausted at the end of it because I'm not managing 30 people, let's be real. I'm just teaching something I love, and it makes a huge difference. And because I tutor online specifically, I can do this from anywhere, and I have. That's a whole other video if you're curious. I just got back from Mexico on another trip that I was on with one of my kids, and I worked from the road while I was there. Not a tremendous amount. I worked around all the fun stuff going on, but yeah, I worked from the road internationally. It's not a selling point someone made up. It's just actually how this works. And I could not have imagined a better job when I was younger than this. I had no idea how incredible owning your own business, being an entrepreneur, and being an online tutor teaching something you love, how incredible it could be. So let's talk about some more surprising parts that most people don't realize. When I was teaching, I was working obviously 40 plus hours a week, right? Probably more if you count the grading and the planning and everything you're doing at home. And my salary was whatever the district decided it was going to be based on my years of service, whatever the contract said. Obviously, tutoring doesn't work that way. Let me give you some real numbers, all right? If you're tutoring 15 to 20 hours a week, which is about what I like to do, that feels pretty full for me. um, at $100 an hour, which is completely reasonable rate for tutoring, especially for a subject specialist. That's a $1,500 to $2,000 a week, 6,000 to 8,000 in a month. Are you making that in the classroom? You might be, but are you only working 15 to 20 hours a week? That salary that I just quoted for tutoring for most people matches or beats a lot of tutoring salaries that are out there, especially the working part-time. And if you want to work more than that, go for it. Do a full 30 or 40 a week if you want to. For me, I just like to sit at 15 to 20. That's what I feel comfortable at. That's the income that I like to make. So, but the sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want. And so let me just be straight with you though. You don't get here in a day. It's not like you're going to quit teaching in the classroom and suddenly be full tutoring. You've got to build it. But the math that I just gave you is absolutely real for myself, for a lot of tutors that I know, and it's available to you if you price yourself correctly and specialize in something that's in demand. As I just said, I work half the hours I did as a teacher and I make way more money. That's not something I'm trying to brag about. It's a pricing decision that I just want to be upfront and open about so you can weigh the decision-making factors in your own life and figure out what you think is possible and what you want to do. It's something I want to help you understand how to do because it changed everything for me. I love online tutoring so much. I decided I wanted to help other people do the same thing. There are so many students out there that need tutoring help that it's a tremendous amount. And I just want to help other people get up and running so they can help other students too. Here's the part that doesn't get talked about enough though. When you tutor independently, every decision is yours. You set your rates, you decide which clients you work with, you set your own policies, you decide when you're available and when you're not. Nobody tells you what to do. There's no admin above you, no HR, no forms to fill out. If a client situation isn't working, you do have to handle it, but you can end it professionally if you want to, if it's getting too stressful and just not a good fit. And that's it. As I already said, I love teaching in the classroom, and I want to be clear about that, but there's a specific kind of freedom that comes from running your own business that I don't think you fully appreciate until you have it. You're not an employee anymore, you're the whole operation, and once you get comfortable with that, it's hard to imagine going back to anything else. You do need to learn the business side of this, how to find clients, how to price your services, how to set up some basics of systems so it doesn't eat up your whole life. That stuff is learnable, though. It's not complicated, and you do have to be willing to figure it out. You also need to be okay with the fact that income isn't automatic on day one. You build it. Most people I know who made this transition, started tutoring on the side while they were still teaching. They got a feel for it, and then they made the move when the timing was right. You might already be doing some tutoring already. Maybe you just didn't realize what a business opportunity this could be, and you are sitting in that sweet spot, ready to make the move. That's a completely valid path and so exciting. The learning curve is shorter than you think, and I'm here specifically on this YouTube channel that I've made to help you with every step of the way if you need anything. Everything I figured out over the last 20 years of online tutoring, or of tutoring in person and now tutoring online, like how to price, how to specialize, how to get clients, how to run this as an actual business, that's what I'm here to talk about. So here's where I land after 20 plus years of doing this. Teaching gave me a foundation, but tutoring gave me the life I always wanted. I get to work with students who want to be there, teach the material I love, set my own schedule, and earn what my skills are actually worth in about half the time. If you're a teacher and you're curious about whether this could work for you, I think it's worth taking seriously. I do. And the next thing you probably want to understand is how to price yourself, because this is the thing that makes or breaks this. I already briefly went into the pricing, but I'm going to do another video next week, specifically a deep dive on how much tutors charge for different subjects and specialties, so you can figure out where you might land on that, and as you continue to think about possibly moving into this area. So that's coming up next. Make sure you subscribe below so you don't miss it. Follow me here. In the meantime, if you are thinking about specializing maybe in SAT test prep, which is one of the areas that I tutor, I do have a free SAT math formula cheat sheet below. You can grab it down there. Link is in the description. And until next time, happy tutoring, friend.